Decimals. Adding and subtracting decimals. Line them up. Don't forget, I got to line them up. Line them, adding and subtracting, line them up. Okay.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to our math video series. I hope you're enjoying these quick little math reviews. If you are, please tell a few friends, and they can tell two friends, and so on and so on. Today we're talking about adding and subtracting decimals. But before we get started, here's my joke. Why was the fraction nervous about marrying the decimal? Because he would have to convert. I know you'll share these with everyone else. All right, so today's message is adding and subtracting decimals. And if you're wondering why I have a can of tennis balls here on my desk, I'll tell you. I always like to try to relate learning to some visual concept that would help stick in our mind. See if you can figure out what I'm doing right now. If you said lining up the tennis balls, you would be right. And we want to do the same thing when we are adding and subtracting decimals. We want to line up the decimals. So let's go over 3 example problems that we can solve together. The first one is 2 7/10 plus 0 3/10. Remember to line up the decimals and then add as you normally would. 2 7/10 plus 0 3/10 is 3.0. Question 2 is 5 35/100 minus 1 8/10. Again, remember to line up the decimals. 5 35/100 minus 1 8/10. Go ahead and pause the video if you would like. And when you come back, you have an answer of 3 55/100, or 3.55. 13 9/thousandths. This one we're going to add to, plus 12.83, or 12 83/100. Remember to line up your decimals, and your final answer is 25 839/1000ths. One helpful tool when you are talking about adding and subtracting decimals are these place value charts. And if you want to pause the video and study the place value chart, now might be a good idea to do that. Let's take a look at a second place value chart. This time we have place values on both sides of the decimal. You can see that we have ones, tens, hundreds that go to the left, and then tenths, hundredths, 1,000ths, and so forth that go to the right. So these place value charts come in very, very handy when you are trying to read a number that has a decimal in it, or as I said, when you're lining up your decimals, when you're adding and subtracting. Also important to remember is that every whole number has an imaginary decimal point. I've talked about this a few times in my class, and hopefully my students will remember that every whole number has a decimal place where? At the end. So if you have the number 273, there's actually an imaginary decimal right at the end. Thank you for watching. As always, stay safe and remember to be kind to each other. We'll see you soon.
Yeah, decimal. Got to do the decimal.
I got to do the decimal video.